Splendid Table is a show that looks at food from every possible angle. Everyone eats, and it's something that involves all of us. The whole idea of the show was, even if you've never walked into a kitchen and you never intend to walk into a kitchen, you'll hear things that I think will intrigue you.
Every time you go into a little crevice of India, you find a new cuisine.
Talking about space and time.
So what was your favorite Koreatown?
You're gonna ask me to pick a favorite, oh my God.
The show's been on for 20 years, and in that 20 years, we've seen such a change in the country. I mean, when we first started, whenever I talked about local or organic or sustainable, I had to explain it because we weren't talking about those things. Originally, we were all call-in because we were new, nobody was listening. So we had callers that were all of our friends who called in with assumed names. And the first time we had a real caller on the line, I was so excited I wouldn't let them go. It was so remarkable. The Splendid Table got started with a phone call. I had written a book that had gotten a great deal of attention. I got a phone call, and it was this woman named Sally Swift who said, "I've just heard you on air, and I think you would be great for a radio show on food." Sally got it instantaneously. She saw things the same way I saw them. We were always looking at what Sally called the sideways entry to a subject. That girl has an original mind, and it's worked very well for us. We had the idea of approaching Minnesota Public Radio. The show began there. I think that's one of the great things about public media. Ideas get a chance to launch. They backed us. They kept us on the air, and that was 20 years ago. The mission of the show was a little hard for folks to understand in the beginning, I think, because everyone thought we were going to be a cooking show. But the reality was that we saw food as this huge subject. Our tagline is the show about life's appetites. It's curiosity, it's passion, it is a driver of desire. Food is the only thing that becomes part of us. It literally is who we are. My very favorite part of the show is the call-in, because it's a chance to play with people. Hi, Jessica. What do you want to talk about?
Hi, Lynne.
You know, we laugh, we talk, and people have great questions. A lot of people call in and they're embarrassed to say, "Well, I don't cook." Well, join the club. You know, 60% of the population or more doesn't cook. It's not a requirement. One of my favorite calls was in a Thanksgiving show. A young woman called in, and she was almost whispering because she was saying that she was newly married, she had never cooked, and her husband had told his family she was going to make Thanksgiving dinner single-handed. And the first reaction I had was, ditch the guy and ditch him now. And I was biting my tongue because you can't tell someone when 1 million people are listening to divorce their husband. It's not a good thing. Some of my favorite guests have been Isaac Mizrahi, Lydia Bastianich, Mario Batali, who's a regular at this point, Francis Lamb, Anthony Bourdain. We were the first people to interview him when he first did that article that started his career. We don't just interview chefs. We talk to farmers, we talk to scientists, we talk to anthropologists, historians. Years back, the phone rang, and I was connected to 2 women who were in a tent about 125 miles from the South Pole. This is where the winds blow regularly at 100 miles an hour, and they were skiing across the continent of Antarctica, and they were each pulling 250-pound sleds of supplies. One of the explorers, Anne Bancroft, was from Minnesota, and she really liked the show. And we talked to them about what were they eating.
You do need a high level of fat. We were eating 45% fat in our 5,000 calorie diet per day. That's a lot.
This is the subject that can take you in almost any direction.
All right. I love the show.